What's up, guys? Jamie here, and welcome to episode 8 of No Turning Back. I did a video celebrating Undertaker's 25 years, which all the links will be down below. And also, I filmed my Undertaker reaction to Survivor Series, so that'll also be down below. And as always, I'm with my co-host, and we also have a guest host with us. But, co-host, would you like to introduce yourself?
What's up, everybody? Razman's Reality Week 8. Man, we said it last week was 7, and these numbers are piling up already. But boy, do we have a lot to cover this week. So I think we picked the best guy to have in the house with us this week to help us with a big discussion. The one and only Deluxe Man is here. How are you, dude?
Oh, wow. Look at that introduction. What's going on, YouTubers? It is your boy, Deluxe Man. I am here with Razman and Jamie Calloway, the ultimate Undertaker fan. And, guys, we're here to talk some wrestling for you. We're going to go through a lot of topics. We're going to knock it out one by one. And hopefully you guys will subscribe to Jamie because this girl, I've known her since she was young. You know, like to say I gave her a few tips to help her get where she is. No, I'm just joking. To be quite honest with you. You know, Jamie was actually some of the people I looked up to when I first started in 2010. Jesus Christ, I'm old. But when I first came on here, me and Jamie used to be, you know, we're still close friends, but we used to be really, really tight. So, you know, this is an opportunity for me to come in and do a video with her. I jumped right on it because this is, you know, we connect to it. Yeah, man, it's old times, guys. You have no idea. So I am excited about what we're doing today on No Turning Back. I believe that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Let's do this. I used to do this show a long time ago too, and then I brought it back this year.
Yeah, because figured, you know, we always like doing videos together anyway. So then she figured, well, I need to upload consistently. Let's just do it as a live podcast. I'm like, that works for me.
Yep, and also the link is in the group chat.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Let's get some people in here then. All right, guys. What's on the first agenda?
So, Survivor Series.
Okay, well, I'd say let's just make this easy on ourselves because to start off with, we were right on this show. Jamie and I were. We got both the semi-final matches and the finals right. So, you know, pat ourselves on the back for that one. We nailed that. And I think Alex said the same thing as well for how everything got set up. But I was a little bit surprised to see Dean Ambrose go over Kevin Owens. I thought for sure it was going to be Kevin versus Roman in the finals. So you guys' opinion on that is my first question.
I actually thought it was a dead set Ambrose versus Reigns main event match. I didn't think they were going to stray away from that. I thought that was the best option for them, and WWE apparently thought so as well. I am very concerned with what they're doing when it comes to Roman Reigns, as they're trying to book him as this, you know, obviously as the top babyface in the company. I don't know if it's a good idea to have him, you know, go over fan favorites like Ambrose. I do agree that if they wanted to establish him as like this big, straight-up, top-notch babyface dominant monster, it should have been over a heel character like a Kevin Owens. You know, I think having him go over Ambrose might have been a better match, and of course it had the history going on with it and everything else. But I don't really see what was the end goal here of trying to make him very likable babyface, especially if we saw the match. Crowd was clearly in corner of Ambrose more than Reigns, and that's just if you watch the match, that's just how it is. And I have a lot more to say about this show than the main event. But yeah, man, it's just Kevin Owens overall. I felt like probably should have been, you know, in hindsight, probably would have been a better choice for Roman Reigns if we're trying to establish him as a top 8.
Well, not only that, but you know, I said it for the unpredictability factor too, because they did the thing the week before.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
Yeah, they did the thing the week before on Survivor Series on Raw where Triple H tried to make Roman sell out, and I thought, well, the storyline writes itself. He didn't want to sell out Roman, well, this guy did. It's a well-known fact that Kevin Owens is a Triple H guy. I thought it would have made a nice swerve over what we thought was going to be.
That's what we were saying.
Of Roman Reigns.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt you. That's what we were saying I think last episode, is that WWE, and I think you said it too, where they need to do something unexpected in this tournament because it's supposed to be a dead set win for Roman Reigns, and we were hoping they would do something different.
Yeah. So it's a curveball, man. It didn't even have to
Yeah.
be a Kevin Owens. They could have shocked us and gone with Del Rio. I would have taken that as well. But they stayed the course and did exactly what we thought was going to happen. And I think overall it just really tainted the excitement of the show.
Or even if they had Dean win, like, we all definitely knew it was going to be Roman Reigns. Like, I would have been happy with Kevin, Dean. Not that I don't like Roman, but I was hoping they would do something different.
Right. It's not the fact that, let me just say this too, it's not the fact that I didn't want Roman Reigns to win. I've been saying for months that I would have loved for Roman Reigns to win if they would have done something like a heel turn or use that win to establish a heel Ambrose or something that we don't see coming. You know what I'm saying? But what we did instead was, after Roman Reigns won, who came out and cashed in, of course, Sheamus. Jesus
He's
Christ.
so boring. Me and Raz always like tweet it, and when we're talking to one another, we're like, he's so boring. And Raz is probably about to say he gets no reaction.
Yeah,
he gets no reaction because he has no character. He's just a haircut. That's it. He's just this craziness with the beard and the hair. It's just a haircut.
Okay.
Take away the haircut, there's nothing to Sheamus at all. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and for those that don't know, I mean, the conversation went straight to Sheamus. I thought we were gonna like put it off and then talk about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
we couldn't help ourselves.
We could do it, but that's fine. But here's the thing: for the people that don't know, there's actually a reason for the crazy haircut for Sheamus. It's because he got cast as Rocksteady in the sequel to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise. That's why he's got that ridiculous haircut. But yeah, I mean, the guy gets no reaction from the guy. I can't remember the last time I've seen a wrestler come out and not get one single boo, not one single cheer. When Sheamus comes out, there's no emotion from the crowd at all.
Silence.
And that's why I thought he was the wrong choice for Money in the Bank. Like, it was just a publicity stunt to give him the Money in the Bank because of this movie. And I thought for sure, because they're so high on Reigns, that they would realize, oh, we screwed up with the Money in the Bank this year. Let's have Sheamus be the second loser with the Money in the Bank.
And I think it was also a way to just get rid of the Money in the Bank. He's had that thing for how long?
It was.
Before he cashed in?
But again, that's why I said, let him cash in, let him lose. To have him win and be champion now, and further the Roman Reigns can't get the title, I don't get it. We've seen it before, and it's the wrong guy. I mean, they're banging their horse on the wrong guy, especially when you consider who they're replacing in Seth Rollins, who's one of the best guys they've had as that top heel in years.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. There's no logic to it at all.
There is no logic, man. I just can't understand it. And people will tell me all the time that Sheamus is a good performer, and he has had his share of good matches. But let's be real. As a champion, as a world champion, he has to be I'm going to at least say one of the most forgettable champions. This guy's a four-time world champion. I can't remember one of his runs. I don't. I know he won it in 2009. I can't remember when he won the other two up to this one. It's ridiculous how someone like Sheamus gets so much TV time over people who can not only do a better job than him, like a Kevin Owens, but who deserve it more than him. And this is coming from someone who isn't in the business. This is someone who's, as a fan, has been watching from the outside. So maybe that statement is a little bit like, okay, are you sure he deserves it more? I just go off of what he's creating. Sheamus is not creating good TV. He's not, at least for me. So I don't know what the idea was for giving Sheamus that championship, because it was not a good idea.
It's quite sad where he is now, because he was in main events, and he was in world title pictures, and he's had title reigns, and now look at him. Nobody cares at all when he comes out.
Yeah, to me, if you pulled the average, Joe or Jane Schmo wrestling fan on the street, to me, the thing that they remember Sheamus for is the guy that screwed Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania with all 18 seconds. That's the only thing people would know about who Sheamus.
Or, they might say that guy with, like, the weird haircut and beard. They might not even know that.
Yeah.
That's all we got from him. Other than that, the rest of his career is he's just an Irish wrestler, and that's as basic, bare bones as we get with Sheamus. He's an Irish wrestler that just so happened to be a world champion, and it's an indication of where the WWE is in terms of making characters and making people care about their roster, establishing stars. You know what I'm saying?
Is this here? I guess this is the question we have to ask ourselves. Is this putting this title on Sheamus right now and forcing Roman Reigns to quote unquote chase the title again? Is it just WWE refusing to admit when they're wrong? They're so desperate for Roman Reigns to be that guy that they're trying to build Roman Reigns up again because they saw what happened at, maybe it was like a last minute decision, like a plan B backstage in their gorilla position. Maybe they saw how over Ambrose was compared to Reigns and like, oh, we can't let Roman Reigns walk out of here with his championship. Bring out Sheamus. I mean, that seems kind of crazy, but just the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think is, this WWE, like, again, trying to make us believe what they believe that we don't see.
And the problem really is this, okay? We can talk about if Roman Reigns deserves to be world champion or not. If you ask me, yes, I do think he deserves, but I don't think he deserves to be the champion as a top babyface because that's not who he is. I think what they're trying to do, they're trying to make Roman Reigns into something he's not. I've said it on my channel, they try to make him into John Cena, which is, I think that's a bad comparison when I think about it, but it really, yeah, it is very accurate. I do feel like they're trying to make him into this white bread babyface, which is not who he is. Let me just tell you what Roman Reigns did. Since he's been in WWE, let's go through his history. He's a Royal Rumble winner. He has the most eliminations at Royal Rumble. He has the most eliminations at Survivor Series. He was the dominant guy in the Shield. He's beaten people like John. When he was in the Shield, he beat John Cena, Randy Orton, Sheamus. He's a dominant badass who should be running roughshod through everybody like a Batista or a Goldberg or back then those dominant monsters. Instead, what we're getting is this, oh, I gotta fight an uphill battle, I never give up kind of character that just doesn't work for him. It worked for people like, I guess it works for John Cena. That's an argument in and of itself. But John Cena's made a name for himself, and then the uphill battle kind of babyface underdog kind of guy that worked for Daniel Bryan. It doesn't work for Roman Reigns. It doesn't.
Yeah, that's the other thing I see. Sorry, Alex, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
That's the other thing I see when I look at what they're doing with Roman. Daniel Bryan's out. They're afraid to clear Daniel Bryan, which we could have a whole nother discussion about.
That's a whole nother video.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother video.
Yeah. But they're afraid to clear Daniel Bryan, and they know the crowd wants Daniel Bryan, so now they're trying to turn Roman Reigns into Daniel Bryan. I mean, it's literally the same thing we saw with Triple H backing the Money in the Bank guy over the guy who should have been champion. It's literally the same storyline.
I also think because so many people are hurt right now, they're trying to replace other people to be in that spot while they're gone. But that's why you need to establish stars so you don't have to scatter and panic and bring back people that are only meant for special times. Not that I don't enjoy seeing them, but establish.
And to establish stars, they have to be in the right roles that suit them the best. Yeah. And I think the role they have with Roman Reigns right now is not going to go anywhere, man. It upsets me because I know deep down if Roman Reigns was to have come into the WWF, let's not even say the Attitude Era, let's say 2002, right afterwards, we know damn well they would have turned him heel by now. He would definitely be a heel character. It's not because because the fans don't like him. No, because he's a natural heel. The guy he's just someone that fans want to see others
heels
try
are
to beat.
better anyway. A lot of people work better as heel too.
Yeah, and that actually might be what he needs because he's not working as a babyface at all.
Yeah, I mean, and you just look at his work at FCW and then very late in the modern, or very early, in the modern incarnation of NXT. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. He's a better heel. then he is a face by far.
Yeah. Unfortunately, WWE is so stubborn. They're gonna do everything in their power, to make him work as a babyface. Which is why they didn't give him the belt yet, because they don't want the fans to boo him as a champion. They want them to love him. But you're not gonna get fans to love him until he's a legit First off, he needs to be a legit character, but until they invest into him. Fans are weird. I think fans ultimately want to hate you first before they love you, because they want to see how tough you are. It's a weird formula, but it worked with The Rock, it worked with Austin, it worked with others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're all just weird. We're all
we're weird, and that's
we're weird.
No, we love you guys.
But yeah, but with the going back to the whole Dean and Roman thing about the heel, I thought somebody was gonna be heel.
Oh yeah, and that whole.
But it wasn't. They were all friend and mushy and whatnot, and.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't. Yeah, I agree with you, Jamie. It didn't make sense to me either, because once Dean went over Kevin in the semifinals, I thought, well, here comes the Dean Ambrose heel turn, because Dean Ambrose is a phenomenal heel too, and I knew they were going to turn Roman heel, so I was like, okay, it's Dean's time to turn heel. But then
they didn't. I was like.
But then hug it out, nothing changes. The brothers still intact, especially with the way they kept screaming, brothers, 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 brothers. I was like, okay, they're making it too.
They're pretty much saying it up, telegraphing it, yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't happen. So that was yet another thing about Survivor Series that was completely illogical.
Yep. Oh yeah, I was promoting that you're all on here, by the way.
Thanks, Jamie. And I promoted that we're doing this on my Facebook. So,
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this is I do want to say this before we move on. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do with Roman Reigns going into 2016, because I wonder if we're going to go ahead and give him the belt at TLC and then he'll go into WrestleMania as champion, or are we going to get a repeat of 2015? He goes in the Royal Rumble, wins that, and then. I don't know if they want to do that again. So I think it's safe to say that he's probably going to get that belt probably by TLC, if not Royal Rumble. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think TLC would make better sense. I mean, I think it goes back to what Jamie was saying earlier. This whole cash-in may have just been a way to get the Money in the Bank winner out of the way until the next Money in the Bank.
So that way you didn't have to worry about it at WrestleMania.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That build-up time for it. Just get rid of it, and then he wins, and then I guess carries it into 2016, and then you go on from there with other storylines.
I would not be surprised. I mean, I think the match everybody wants to see, especially if the Sting match can't happen, is Undertaker versus John Cena at Mania. But I would not be surprised if John Cena makes his return to TV at the Royal Rumble, wins the Rumble, and faces Reigns for the title at Mania. That would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, that could work if under the right circumstances, I'm not gonna hold my breath for that one though. I think WWE probably wants to. Well, actually, no. If they do want to establish him as a babyface, they might put him against John Cena, because they know fans will definitely choose Reigns over Cena. I don't know. We'll see how that works, but that's not a bad idea.
I'm surprised if they put Cena in another title picture, because he's Cena anyway. So
yeah, and he needs to at least tie Flair. Nobody should ever break Ric Flair's record. But I think Cena probably should tie Ric Flair, simply because, even if people don't want to see him tie the record, which I know a lot of people don't, but you don't want to see him not tie the record because of a freaking comedian named Jon Stewart. I mean, let's do it. So, that's just something I was thinking about. But let's talk about something that people are actually invested in right now, and that's the freaking Divas division. How amazing is this feud between Charlotte and Paige? Like, I could watch this for another 6 matches right now, as well as it's going. I love this.
It's first off, it's fresh, and I think we're actually getting to see these female wrestlers not only in a prominent spot. I mean, they closed the show a few weeks ago. We can talk about the controversy of that probably if you want to. But
sure.
It's refreshing. It's really refreshing seeing WWE give spotlight and give a shine to the female
Divas.
Wrestlers.
Finally. Because for a while it was like, totally just like nobody cared. And now it's like, I'm so interested in the Divas. I think both of you know how I was like didn't care at all for the Divas, and now I'm actually quite interested in when they come on. I usually like go get a snack or something, but now like I'm just totally into it.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at where they came from, though. Remember in 2010 when the Divas barely got a minute? Their matches were like 30 seconds,
Right.
and people like Kelly and Alicia Fox and Jesus Christ, these female wrestlers who just couldn't wrestle, and the ones who could.
Just the models were out there, and then it's like the wrestlers that could were jobbing.
Mm-hmm. And then now we look at, of course, Total Divas didn't help either. But we look at these girls on NXT, and we see what they've done since 2014. I'll dare say it started with Natalya and Charlotte. That match, ever since they had that match, it's been an upward slope. And it's been topping and topping and topping, and then it's culminated with Bayley and damn Sasha Banks. Those two matches back to back.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was some of the best stuff that I've seen.
You never see stuff like that with the Divas.
Yeah, that was
so amazing.
The best stuff in wrestling in the last 10 years, let alone the women's division. I mean, that was some amazing stuff, and that's the only problem, I guess, with how well Paige is doing as a heel, and how well it makes sense for them to do 2 or 3 matches out of this, because Sasha Banks is being forgotten about.
I love Natalya. That was amazing too. I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Sasha Banks, and I know I'm sorry if I'm kind of doing this, stemming into other topics, but a lot of fans are just like straight up, please push Sasha Banks right now, otherwise we're gonna, it's just getting to that point where wrestling fans are ready to start, pulling a Daniel Bryan on the Divas division now because they want Sasha Banks to be pushed. People are like, oh, we don't like Charlotte, we don't like Paige, we want Sasha Banks. I mean, Sasha Banks is awesome, but I think what's happening is people are starting to not appreciate what's going on in front of them. I think Charlotte and Paige are doing a pretty decent job by themselves.
Right.
You can argue that what they're getting is not what they could be getting, because if this was NXT, I'm pretty sure it'd be a lot better than what it is. But again, looking back to where they used to be and what they were dealing with, because before these girls, we had Nikki Bella as Divas champion, and let's be real, Nikki didn't do much with that belt. She didn't at all. No.
I mean, to her credit,
it wasn't interesting at all.
To Nikki's credit, though, she became vastly improved as an in-ring performer as her reign went on.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not taking anything away from Nikki Bella or any of the Bella twins. I'm just, to me, NXT has spoiled me to a point, and I'll say that, where it's just like, if we could be getting this kind of quality for the female wrestlers on the developmental brand, what's to say why can't we get it on the main roster now?
Well, and that brings up another thing, because the biggest thing I think that could really help Sasha is get her away from Team Bad and let Paige, become the new quote-unquote leader of Team Bad, help make Naomi relevant again, especially, and then let Sasha work as a face for a time with Charlotte and Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, and bring up Bayley and do the 4 horsemen on the main roster. But the problem with that is, you bring up Bayley, you got nobody quite ready to be on the NXT standard level. Like, Alexa Bliss is close. Some of the other girls, Nia Jax, they're close, but they're not ready yet to carry that mantle in NXT, and that's why you can't bring up Bayley right now, in my opinion.
Right, but you also can't forget about people like Dana Brooke and my personal favorite, Asuka. You guys, Asuka on NXT is quickly becoming one of my favorites on that entire roster. She is a beast. She is a beast. I swear to God.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've ever seen her work in Japan, I mean, you knew what they had when they signed her. That arguably it was as big a signing as Kenta was, who we now know as Hideo Itami, who of course, hasn't been able to do anything because he got hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I think it's sometimes hard to believe what you said, I'm pretty sure, Alex, that it's hard to believe that NXT and WWE or Raw or whatever you want to call it are the same shows sometimes.
It's the same
because
company.
NXT is such another level, and then it's like WWE sometimes it's just like it's hard to believe that they're two like the same things. Why can't we have that on the main roster then?
Yeah, what? And it goes back to what I've said to you in private conversations. I've said on this show, Jamie. I've said on my channel. I feel like I've said it 100 times, but Alex is here and he may agree or disagree with B. But I think it's just more of Triple H needs to have the book. I think Vince, needs to, do what we're having on screen and actually let it be a thing and just bow out gracefully, because he clearly has lost touch with what the fans want compared to what his son-in-law's doing. If his son-in-law was controlling the booking, I think the overall product would be way better.
And I think that's a reflection of the Divas revolution right now. I think, let's be real, I do think when it first started, it was hot. I think a lot of fans were just like, yes, we're finally getting good female wrestling. But ever since they did this whole trios teaming up, I kind of feel like it's kind of lost a little steam because we just got nothing but tag matches. And although the matches aren't like harmful, it's not sparking any buzz, unlike what Charlotte and Paige are doing, And so
Yeah.
I hope Charlotte and Paige. I was talking about this with my friend Preston, and we read something along the lines that they want to do a ladders match with the Divas at TLC, which would be
Oh, wow,
that'd be
really
amazing.
freaking awesome.
Could you imagine that? Oh my gosh.
I can't remember the last time I saw two females in a ladder match, but those two could definitely handle it, and that would be amazing.
My God, that's a match I would definitely watch the show alone to see, and I think those two could put on a really good performance. Yeah, man, and hopefully they give them the spotlight, and I hope they do very well in that match. But
Well, I think Alex touched on it, and we kind of glossed over it because mostly I did it on purpose because I didn't know what my opinions were at the time. But the whole controversy of the lead into the Divas Championship match at Survivor Series with the mentioning of Reed Flair, I was okay with it because I thought, well, for sure they have to have gotten that approved. But apparently Charlotte didn't know Paige was going to say it, and Rick didn't know Paige was going to say it. If that's the case, WWE should not have done it because it's too soon, it's too recent, and it's too personal to them. I mean, it did what it was supposed to do, and it made the crowd go, oh, and it made us pay attention and made us love Paige so more to heel. I mean, you can't get more old school heel than mentioning real life, but I think it was just too much insensitivity to have done that.
I don't know, man. It's just, to me, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't want any blending of reality into this fantasy world of wrestling, because they've been doing that since the beginning of time, and I've seen some stuff where it works. I mean, CM Punk's promo in 2011 was based in reality, and that's one of the best promos that's ever been done on Raw. His story, and I'm not going to sit here and say that there was a part of me that was kind of like, ooh, she went there, kick her ass hard. I wasn't invested into it. Well, initially, I didn't want to know. I didn't know what to say about it either. Like, was it a good idea? Was it a bad idea? It just depends on what you're looking for. But then the news came out about Rick not knowing it, his wife not knowing it, and Charlotte not knowing about it. And then I just started thinking, was that really necessary? Did they really have to go to that well? Could you come on, you're creative writers. You were paid.
There are other heel ways to do
exactly. You are paid to create your own storylines. Why couldn't you facilitate your own kind of way to draw the heat? Why did you have to be so lazy as to go, okay, oh, her brother died, let's use that? I'm just, what the? When you think about it that way, it's just like, Jesus Christ, guys.
And you would at least think that they would know. I can't believe they didn't know.
Yeah, I
wouldn't have been as, not that I was furious or anything, but I thought that it wouldn't have been as bad if they knew, because they can go, okay, well, they were cool with it, so it's okay, but they didn't.
Exactly. So. I mean, if they knew, this whole conversation would be completely different. But the fact that they didn't know makes us have to have this conversation. Because if they knew, nobody would care. Everybody would say, that's fantastic old school heat. I love it.
Well, some people might have been a little more sensitive, like, I don't know if we should do that, but at least they knew,
Exactly. Yeah. It just depends on what you're looking for overall. But yeah, for me personally, like you guys said, they should have consulted both Rick and Ric Flair's mother first. But also, I do kind of think it was lazy. I just kind of think you could have done a lot better job than what you did. Did it facilitate the feud into like a different level? I guess you could say it did. It's just, again, I do feel like a lot of fans were turned off by the feud because of what they did. So at the end of the day, was it the best idea? That's the question right there. You know?
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
I think they had the intentions of that they wanted to, like, I don't know the word for it, wanted to bring it up to a higher level, but they obviously went with the wrong way of doing that.
Right. It added heat to the feud. Let's not take that away from it. It added the right heat to it that it needed to actually get it to where it is right now. It's just, again, it's the execution. It's the way they went about it that just really taints it. You know. I guess, based off of their match at Survivor Series, I thought the match was good. I didn't have any issues with the match at all. And hopefully they have an even better match at TLC. I think Charlotte and Paige are going to really do a very good job of helping these divas establish some prominence on the main roster.
All right, I think Charlotte and Paige are easily going to be the next Trish and Lita. Easily.
You think?
Yeah.
Huh.
In terms of, people in 10, 15 years talking about this feud, because this won't be the last feud we see. We'll see it 3 or 4 more times before their career is over, and I think they will absolutely be the gold standard. Maybe you throw Sasha in there, maybe you throw Bayley in there, depending on what they do. Maybe you throw Asuka in there too. I mean, the whole landscape has changed, but just based on what I've seen so far, it's the closest thing I've seen to Trish and Lita in terms of these are 2 divas that people are going to be invested in for a long time, no matter who's heel, no matter who's face, and we're not going to get tired of seeing them go at each other.
I actually would argue that this is just the beginning. I think it's just going to go up from here. I think it's going to get better and better and better with different people, with different feuds, because we have a roster of female wrestlers who are like sharks. They're looking to top each other. They're not going to...
Competition is always good. It always brings out the best in everybody, and it always makes people want to elevate. Yeah.
We used to have that back in the day, with whether it was WWF, WCW, whatever you want to call it, the Monday Night Wars. The element of competition, the idea that, well, okay, your feud was all right, but my feud's going to be better than yours. Exactly. And you have this female roster here, whether you want to call it Becky, Charlotte, the 4 horsewomen. Those 4, or do you can even say Alexa Bliss, you can even say a Dana Brooke or an Emma when they come up, and that's why I really do hope the WWE doesn't screw this up. This is one thing I hope they just get right. If they don't get anything else right, I hope they get the divas right. They can. They have
been getting the divas right, so we'll give them that one.
Yeah, they haven't screwed it up yet. We'll say it that way.
The big word, yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Well, we've already covered the whole Sheamus thing, so in my opinion, there's really nothing on Raw that really is
you gotta talk about the Undertaker.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I was saving that to the end for you.
Come on, Raz. Come on, man. Steal your game. No,
we're only teasing, teasing.
I thought she was going to save that for the end. I was letting you do that at the end.
We got you. Save the main event. Save the best for last. I got your ass.
Yeah. But, I mean, you do it out, Jamie. I mean, it's your channel, so you're the co-host. So
that is true. I really, really liked, of course, that's probably not surprising, but I really, really loved the whole celebrating of 25 years. And I really loved how it was all centered around him. And it wasn't, like, the last match he had was great. This match wasn't as great as, like, Hell in a Cell and stuff and SummerSlam. But I enjoyed seeing tag matches, and I'm so happy that Undertaker's so healthy. I wouldn't want to see him go out there and him, like, killing himself and then injuring himself. But I'm very glad he's healthy.
It's crazy to know that Taker is I don't know how old he is. He's like
50.
Wow. Okay. It was crazy to know that he's that age and he's still going like he's damn 30-something years old. The guy, even at this age, is still having some of the best matches that I've seen him have.
And who would have thought in 2015 that he would be wrestling at a Survivor Series,
Right.
He's been doing amazing in his matches, too, for a 50-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Like, this year alone, he's been having good matches.
Oh, my gosh, they were great. And this match was... I enjoyed seeing it, too. Him in, in a tag match and everything. I enjoyed seeing him, but he's been doing great, and he looks, like I said before, very, very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
If I can just take this, just take the mantle really quickly. I will say that I was a little bit worried about him last year, 2014, not just because of the streak ending, and I don't know if you guys want to talk about that or not.
No.
Okay.
No, I think we've tortured her too much with that.
Okay, then sorry about that. But, I was a little bit worried about him last year because, after he got hurt by Lesnar, I was like, Jesus, man.
You could just tell he was so unhealthy.
Right, but then he returned this year, had a really good match. He had a good match with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, had an even better match with Lesnar at SummerSlam and Hell in a Cell. And you just start to, he's kind of
just been topping everything.
Exactly.
And he's 50 too.
That's what kills me, man. This guy is still showing us that he can still do it. And Taker is someone that I don't know him. I don't know Mark Calloway, but I can just tell that he's someone that if he can't do it no more, he wouldn't come back. He just go, if I can't have it at a certain level of performance, I'm just gonna call it a day.
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it anymore.
He's an old school guy too, so.
Yeah, man. So.
And that's actually what. Sorry, Alex. That's actually what actually made me worried because I know it made Jamie worried because that's the first thing that was out of her mouth after we'd seen Survivor Series was why did Cole and the announce team keep talking about this might be the last time we ever see Brothers of Destruction together? Like I hope to God that wasn't his last match. Taker.
That better not be his last match. No, that is not a good send-off for Taker. He deserves a lot better than that.
If everyone thinks it's going to be 32, which I'm hoping it's not, but if it is, it's up to him. And obviously, he needs a huge send-off. He deserves it, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a big fan of him. But I'm hoping not, but I'd rather have him end on a good note and him being very healthy than him, breaking his neck or something, and then that's it. Exactly. He's healthy right now, very, very healthy, and if he decides next year that's it, then I will support him. I'll be sad, but I'll still support him.
I think
and also, I want to know. I would like to know when he's retiring. I don't want to just find out, oh, yeah, that's his last match. I would like to at least know in advance, not just oh, yeah, he's retiring. And I just don't want him to fade into the sunset either. But go ahead.
I think what a lot of fans are trying to get at when it comes to him retiring at WrestleMania 32, they look at that show and go, man, this is the perfect time for him to do it because it's in Texas, and everybody is really, really willing to give the WWE $100 right now, willing to see Sting versus Taker at WrestleMania 32, which is honestly, I would think is the perfect match to have. That is the best possible match you can do for that particular show, especially if you want to pack out over 100,000 fans in the arena. I mean, are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but no offense to Taker and Cena, which will probably be a good match. The best match to have with Taker at WrestleMania 32 clearly is Sting versus Taker.
That's a match everybody's dying to see, but they both have to be healthy,
Yeah, obviously. And Sting, we don't know what his condition right now since Night of Champions, since he got hurt during that match with Rollins. But we don't know, man. And to me, when it comes to Taker, the guy's been here for 25 years. He's healthy as hell. Like you just said, man, if he wants to stay an extra year and can still do it, go ahead. He can, do a feud with someone like a Finn Balor or a Kevin Owens, or he hasn't fought Daniel Bryan yet. Why not do Daniel Bryan? Maybe a Ziggler or something. If he wants to stay and help the young roster, man,
because that's just the guy he is, old school. He'll do anything to better the business and to establish new stars too.
And for the people that just to go off what Alex was saying, for the people that say, oh no, it's a couple years too late for Sting versus Taker, I used to think that, but the more and more I've sat here and thought about it, the more and more I think now is the best time to have that match because, sorry Jamie, don't kill me, but because the streak is over. Because it adds that intrigue to it of now, are we 100% sure that Sting can't get a victory over Undertaker at WrestleMania?
You're lucky I can't come through the screen. I'm only kidding.
I'm just talking about in terms of intrigue and interest in the match because they are both on that level of iconic characters where some people are going to be in one character's corner, some people are going to be in the other character's corner, and if the streak still existed, that's what everybody kept saying about Sting. You don't want to see Sting come into WrestleMania and lose automatically.
What?
Man, it's all the stars will align if the streak still existed. Then we have Taker and Sting for the streak at WrestleMania. Damn, man. But even without the streak, it still works. I mean,
Yeah.
again, we can go off the
Just
whole.
simply because simply because those two iconic stars, just to have them, you know.
Yes.
And like I think it's more special nowadays because, you know, we don't see Undertaker as much and Sting at all in WWE. So.
I mean, if you just make the match off the marquee itself, Sting versus The Undertaker, that alone will sell WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to draw in a lot of old school fans, you're going to draw in a lot of modern day fans, and people who just getting into the business, who just started watching this year, they know who Sting and Taker are, they understand that they're icons. You know, you're going to do a lot of good business.
And simply also because Undertaker at WrestleMania, you know.
Yeah,
Simply
there's
because
still that aura.
You can't have WrestleMania without the Undertaker.
There is no
even though
WrestleMania
we don't
without
have the
Taker.
streak. Yeah, even though we don't have the streak anymore, at least we have Taker there, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's still that aura there about Undertaker and WrestleMania. I mean, no offense to Shawn Michaels, but Undertaker is Mr. WrestleMania. Undertaker is the guy that made WrestleMania what it is today. Maybe not so much in between the ropes, but as far as mystique and intrigue and why you tune in, year after year after year, it was Taker. So there's absolutely still a reason to have the match, which again is why I say, to me, there's even more intrigue now, because you've got two guys that a lot of people think logically are at the end of their career. You got one guy that's 50, one guy that's 60. This will probably be the only time they could do it. You know, who deserves to go over more? Sting hasn't had that established win at a pay-per-view. Undertaker is at WrestleMania, maybe in his last WrestleMania match ever. I think it would be a better time for it right now.
Man, and you know what? I hope they go through with it. I know it's a long shot. It's a long shot that we'll do Sting and Taker. I've kind of just convinced myself of that. But man, if they do this match, it's just gonna make a lot of people happy, and we can argue.
You'll shut us up after that with just that match at least.
Well, yeah,
So
I mean,
bothering
right.
you with that one.
Exactly.
Right.
We'll at least not complain for at least a week after that.
at least a week after that.
We'll stop complaining during that match and a little bit after that. But then after that subsides, we'll keep complaining. Just kidding.
Yeah, man, it's just it's the easiest thing to do. It's the perfect time to do it. And if they wait too long, then it might actually get to a point where it's too late. You know, they should get
Sting
it.
is 56 and Taker is 50. Obviously, they're only going to get
Oh,
older.
okay.
And next
that's gonna
time
get older.
Undertaker wrestles, he'll be 51 for WrestleMania 32. He will be 51 years old. And I don't know when Sting turns 57, but he'll probably be close to turning 57, I assume.
Yeah,
So.
the door of opportunity is closing. We need to capitalize on it as much as possible.
But yeah, I really love Survivor Series being 25 years and it just catering to him and like, can you believe 25 years? That is amazing.
I think that's the longest anybody's been, and I'm gonna assume that's the longest anybody's been in any company, WWE, otherwise. That's a long tenure for anybody. That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, I should say this too. His entrance, I loved his entrance. I love the holographic coffin with all his.
Oh my gosh! And then his symbols, and then all the faces of Undertaker throughout the years.
Yes.
And my reaction, I was just going, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool! That's so cool! Look at the background."
That's the kind of stuff you do for WrestleMania, so I'm happy they did that for Survivor Series. But again, please don't let this be his send-off. This is not a good match to close to Taker's career.
I definitely think that it'll be at WrestleMania. He's definitely going to be at WrestleMania and have a match. So at least if that's his last match, it'll definitely be at WrestleMania, not Survivor Series.
Right. So one last question. Do you think Taker should go into the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania 32? I
think he should go, period, but...
Well, yeah, but I meant, like, do you think he should go and just go ahead and put him in next year? Even though he might be around afterwards, you know what I'm saying?
Does anybody want to answer that? Everyone just got quiet.
Everybody just, I know.
I didn't want to...
Well, you guys are thinking about it. I think he should. I think we should just go ahead and just establish him as a legend. He's already a legend. He just doesn't have a ring to say it. Yeah.
Know this.
So you might as well just go ahead and give him the ring. And I know people are all like, well, only give it to him if he's going to retire, which I understand that too. I don't know. I just think it's the perfect time to, if you're going to put him in the Hall of Fame, the WrestleMania 32 is the perfect time to do it. I don't understand why they wouldn't. You know what I'm saying?
Raz, did you want to say anything?
Raz? Is he there?
Or I think he froze. That's
technical difficulties.
We are live. We are having issues. So yeah, he left, but by an accident. But yeah, we're having issues, and I can't really edit a live show. So anyway, that's the only downside to a live show is you can't,
He'll be back in. That's not a big issue. We can carry it up till he goes. There he is.
He's back. Hello.
Sorry about that, everybody. My internet. Well, first of all, I had the end of the Ohio State Team Up North game paused because I didn't get to see the end of it before we had to start the show. And then my TV decides it's going to unpause itself and create noise. So I went to go shut that off, and then I came back and my whole internet crashed on me. So the joys of live broadcasting. Sorry about that.
We're live, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happens. Did you catch my last question, Raz, before you left?
No, I did not.
Do you think Taker should go into the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania 32?
Yeah, I do. Because of the whole, that being the end of his 25-year run. I mean, even if he doesn't quit wrestling, the numbers, it just makes sense for him to go in. Especially
it just adds to him being amazing.
It adds to the legacy of him. Right. He could be the only guy besides a Ric Flair to wrestle an active match while being a Hall of Fame member.
Exactly.
I mean, it just makes perfect sense. I
think you guys took it all out of my mouth, but yes, I would just be repeating what you guys said.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because it just shows, like, I haven't been able to talk to Alex in a while, but it just shows when you have friendship with people how certain things never go away and people's personalities and minds just click. Because I was actually going to make a video about that closer to WrestleMania, that very thing, about why Undertaker needs.
I mean, he deserves it anyway. So yeah. We've all been waiting for him to go into the Hall of Fame, even if he's not retiring after this, and he could always retire in ring, and still make appearances like Shawn Michaels. Obviously, when he officially retires, he'll probably, make appearances here and there, but he could also, retire from the ring, but not necessarily with coming and making appearances. But if he doesn't, that's good too. I don't want him to retire, but if that's it, that's up to him, and what better way to go than to go in your hometown and then go right into the Hall of Fame.
Right. The one thing I don't want to see with Taker is for him to turn into someone like a Big Show. Him overstaying his welcome to the point where it's just like, Jesus Christ, dude, just retire. Just call it a day, Taker. He hasn't gotten there yet. But that's what I don't want it to get to that point with Taker. I want it to get to a point where if he's still going to be here, it's because he can still work. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense.
Right, and I also don't want him to end on a bad, for health reasons either. We'd rather him retire while he's healthy, not retire because he broke his arm or has a severe concussion or, God forbid, does something to his neck. Or we don't want something like that. We'd rather him end on a good note than a bad note. But whatever he decides, because it's not up to us, it's up to him. But, I mean, we're all quite excited that he's even making appearances here and there. And I think him not showing up all the time, too, kind of, adds to it, too. Because Big Show's on everything all the time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So. And simply because he's Undertaker, too,
Yeah, and Undertaker is going to be the opposite of my guy, Jericho, who also got his 25 years this year. I mean, Undertaker cannot disappear and ride off in the sunset without people knowing he's done. Jericho, if that's what he still wants, unfortunately for me, that's what he can do. He can just never wrestle again, and people won't make as big a deal out of it if he just wants to, just fade away. But Undertaker, because of his legacy and what he's meant to the business, he can't do that. So that much to me is not going to be an issue. It's just a matter of how he himself wants to end his career.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's hoping for some more stuff for Undertaker in the future, man. You know.
Yeah, especially for me. I want to keep seeing him.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that retirement yet, but if that's what he decides, I'm gonna support him. But I'll be bawling at the same time too.
Okay.
So.
I hear
Well,
you.
was there anything from Raw that happened that we want to cover? Or should we let Alex take the reins and talk about NXT?
I have to say, Raw was boring. Nothing really happened too much after the Survivor Series pay-per-view. But go ahead, Alex.
I'm just going to say it like this before I get into my NXT discussion. At this point in time, Raw is probably not the best show to be watching. I have told my fans, and I'll tell you this too, I'm not going to be doing any more reviews on Raw. I'll probably be watching Raw for the rest of the year. The direction they're going in with everything, I'm just not into it, except for the Divas Revolution. We'll see where that goes. But other than that, I'm not interested in the IC title match, which is, I would think you would because it's Kevin Owens as IC champion, but they have completely taken a guy who was so awesome on NXT and just booked him as a cowardly chicken shit heel on the main roster. And it just really disappoints me to see where he's gone. And the same thing goes for Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio came in at a strong way. Beat John Cena for the U.S. Championship. You think he'd be awesome? No, he's just back to being Mex America Del Rio with Zeb Coulter. It makes no goddamn sense. That pair doesn't work. And now he's feuding with Jack Swagger. Who gives a shit? Seriously. And then the new...
And I think we all just watch out of habit. I mean, we've all been watching for a while. And it's just like your body just goes through the motion. You just turn your TV on, turn to, the USA Network, and then you watch.
Exactly. Right. Like, I can't remember the last time that, just going off what Jamie said, like I've said before when we brought that up to each other on the show on there, it's literally one of those things where I can't remember the last time that I watched Raw live from 8 p.m. to 11:05 or whatever it is. I always DVR Raw, and I watch it at a decent hour during the day when I get back from work, and I fast forward the matches that are predictable. I haven't watched 3 hours of Raw in a very long time.
Like, I tune in every week, but I'm not necessarily paying attention because there's nothing interesting going on. Like, I'll have it in the background, but I've mainly been really paying attention because Undertaker has been making so many appearances. And if I'm not paying attention, I don't want to miss seeing him on my television, which is why I watched a little bit of SmackDown when he was on, but only his part, though. So.
It's just, at the point now where I look at the ratings of Raw, which is apparently at an all-time low, which is, we say that every year too, Raw's hit all-time low in ratings, and it's just going to get lower, and it's going to continue to get lower until something changes.
And to be fair, there's always so much on during this time of the year. Right. There's always the music awards, there's always football's on, The Walking Dead's on at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how, like, when their pay-per-views are on, The Walking Dead's on, or whatever it happens to be, or on Monday too. There's so much on during this year. It's just people are going to tune into those things and not Raw. But also, yes, it's because the product's not the best.
Yeah,
product's not the best at all.
But like, it's always this year around this time that the ratings are. I mean, they've had really low ratings regardless of the year, but especially this time of the year, it's always very low. I mean, look, The Walking Dead's on. Football's on. People are going to want to tune into that and not Raw or
and then on top of all that, it's the holidays this time of year too.
Yeah.
So
holidays. I'll give Jamie the points on the shows. I like Walking Dead and stuff like that. Football. Yeah, I'll give you that. Holidays, though, I don't really think it's going to work for me because there were days back in the past, holidays wouldn't affect anything when it comes to ratings. What affected the holiday ratings is the fact that the show just isn't that good. You know what I'm saying?
Which I think is why when the product, sorry to cut you off, which is why the product not being so good, people figure, it's not good, so I can tune in to The Walking Dead or football. There's other alternatives to watch than to tune on to Raw or the pay-per-view at the time.
Well, and I'll give a perfect example of it, and people might, I'll probably get yelled at in the comments, but I don't care, because I've always been real. My Cincinnati Bengals, everybody knows the kind of year they've had. They got booked on Sunday Night Football on November 22nd, so I watched Survivor Series on demand on Monday, and I watched my Cincinnati Bengals live on Sunday Night Football. That's just what I did because I wasn't going to miss an opportunity to see them maybe do something special. Again.
For the second hour of Survivor Series, I watched The Walking Dead, and then when Undertaker's, like, The Walking Dead's only an hour, so then when that was over, I tuned into Survivor Series again, and that's exactly when the Undertaker's match came on. So it worked out where I didn't miss anything too important, but that's what I did. I tuned into The Walking Dead and then tuned into the important parts of the show.
And that's probably the best thing to do right now during this time because, sorry, I'm not interested in Sheamus versus Reigns. Not interested. I would be interested in Owens versus Ambrose under better booking, but not this time. I just have no interest for the main roster as it is. Not like I have for NXT and NXT London coming up. So if you guys are cool, if you have anything else you want to say about Raw, go ahead. But
I just wanted to quickly comment on the whole Ambrose because that was the thing I took away from SmackDown was Ambrose being named the #1 contender for the IC title. I think the feud is going to be good. I like the feud, but I think the opposite. They're playing the characters incorrectly, like
how they're booking it.
Yeah, like Alex said. So now, if Ambrose wins the title, as much as the crowd's behind Ambrose, as much as I like Ambrose, if Ambrose wins the title now, it's just going to prove how much Kevin Owens has been screwed over. It's not going to be the right time for Ambrose to beat Kevin Owens for that title.
It isn't.
So
we'll see what happens with the main roster. TLC will be an interesting pay-per-view overall. But we ready to get into the discussion for NXT?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Take
sure.
the wheel. It's your turn to say whatever you would like. Not that you have to do that all along, but
we're still planning on watching the show, so go ahead with your whatever you gotta say. Because NXT is the kind of show, even if you get spoilers from it, you're still gonna watch it. So,
well, guys, let me just go ahead and take the reins here for NXT. I'm just going to go down the card for what it's looking like on NXT in London and just discuss each of the matches in depth. And you guys can comment on based off of what I say. Pretty much, let's start off with the main event match, which is going to be Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe. Now, Samoa Joe, when he first came into NXT, man, he came in at a hot time. Fans were just like, oh my God, so we got Samoa Joe from TNA. And I think what's happened since Samoa Joe has come in is opened the doors for other TNA stars to come in. Now we see James Storm come in. We saw Jesse Sorensen on this last episode of NXT. He's in NXT now. And we also got someone like, apparently based off of rumors, Austin Aries, what might be coming into the NXT very soon. So I'm very excited to see this uprising of former NXT talent do what they're going to do. But I'm also very intrigued with this feud because, with the whole NXT Dusty Rhodes Classic tournament going on, these guys were partners, they were best friends, and since they won the tournament, Finn Balor has promised Samoa Joe a title shot, and Samoa Joe is very pissed off at the fact that he hasn't gotten that title shot and he has to work for it. So naturally, what does he do? He gets pissed off, he attacks Finn Balor, it gets him from him that way. Just very natural storytelling. It makes sense. I want to be the best guy in the company, and you promised me something, you didn't give it to me. So I'm going to take it from you now. And this feud has the heat of that. The contract signing this past Wednesday was really awesome. I'm not going to spoil it too much. I want you guys to go watch it, but it really highlights this feud. I really think these two are going to have an excellent match. What do you guys think about Finn Balor and Samoa Joe? Are you guys... you guys interested? Yeah.
Okay, Jamie, you want to go first or you want me to do it?
You can go first.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I have pointed, since Samoa Joe came in, I've said that this is the feud they need to do. So I'm very, very excited about it.
Talked that in one episode of No Turning Back.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it, me predicting that it needed to happen before it even did. So, I'm very happy that it happened, and I like the booking, I like the circumstances. The thing that's so intriguing about it is which way do they go? Because part of me wants Finn to lose the title so he gets called up, but then I look at what has happened to Kevin and Neville on the main roster, and I'm like, nah, dude, stay where you are. Stay where you're going to get yours right. So it's a very thin line there because you can only do so much in NXT, but at the same time, I want him to be Prince Devitt / Finn Balor. I don't want him
Yeah, it's
to.
like you're half and half. Like you want him to go up, but at the same time,
Yeah. And if Joe doesn't take the title, what else is Joe going to do? That whole thing. I think that NXT missed a golden opportunity, though, especially with this feud happening. If they want to make this a 2 or 3 match feud, they missed a golden opportunity by not signing the Young Bucks to a contract, because then you could have had, because he's using the Baylor Club t-shirts, you could have had the Bullet Club in NXT. How amazing would that have been?
That would have been a really awesome thing to see.
that would have only made NXT 10 times, more amazing than it already is.
Yeah, just further establishing that it is the superior brand in WWE, clearly. And I agree with that, man. We look at this feud, and you see how good it's doing right now. It's just amazing that, my God, it could be so much better. And the whole idea that Finn Balor would be better on NXT, not the main roster, clearly it just illustrates how bad the main roster is compared to NXT, because you kind of know that, this guy.
They're so good on NXT, but then they won't get booked right on the main roster,
Kevin Owens on paper should be the new Stone Cold Steve Austin. If they do him right, he could be on that level of that anti-hero antagonist, because he's the kind of guy that you're going to cheer for or not cheer for no matter what he does. But they've screwed him up so bad that now I don't want them to screw up Finn, because it's the same type of thing.
Yeah, and someone like Finn needs to be taken care of very, very.
He's so good too. I love him.
Very good. He is awesome. I made the comparison between him and Undertaker at one point. I feel like the guy has that aura. He has that, but not just because of his entrance, by the way. His entrance by itself is amazing. But the guy just seems to have a different kind of aura than any kind of wrestler out there. And I think Finn, whether you call him Prince Devitt or Finn Balor.
You know what we also wanted to see, because we originally thought it would be Team Undertaker versus the Wyatt family, 4-on-4, and people wanted to see him with Kane and the Undertaker,
right,
in that match. We wanted to see that, and then I don't know who you wanted as the fourth person, but I know people wanted Finn in that match because he's that good,
And he's just going to get better and better. Like, the only thing that I think is going to hold him back is his microphone skills. That's not like a big deal, but it is something that I'm kind of skeptic of him.
Okay. Just throwing it out there, because you brought it up. Mike skills, his only weakness, he's similar to Undertaker. We don't have Paul Bearer anymore, but we do have a really great manager in wrestling who can carry somebody on the mic. What about Finn Balor being the next Paul Heyman guy?
Whoa, dang, man, that I think could actually work. The more I think about it,
because Paul obviously has guys that are so established.
Yeah, and his skill set is very, very similar to Punk as well. So, I mean, to me, it just really works if they chose to do it. I don't know if Paul would do it, and I don't know if WWE would want to do it, because since Punk left, they seem to be all about he has to be with Brock because it adds to the mystery of Brock, and I think the whole miscue on
and Brock's mic skills aren't that great either.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I said as I was being funny, but I said he sounded like a dying whale. He made a noise that made him sound like a dying whale.
I remember that moment on Raw. Jesus Christ. Definitely Heyman helps out Lesnar in that aspect. Now, the reason why people say that they don't want Heyman working with anybody else but Lesnar is basically because other people he's worked with haven't really done much. Let's be real. He's worked with people like Curtis Axel. Really? Why were you putting stock in that guy? He is Mr. Perfect's son, but nowhere close to Mr. Perfect. And then he gave him Ryback. Right? I'm not hating on Ryback. I know he's a top babyface. He's one of the top babyfaces in the company. I give him that credit. But I don't see the big deal in Ryback. I never saw a big deal in Ryback. I tried to get into him. He just doesn't do it for me. It didn't work.
Healer face, I'm not into him either.
He doesn't work, And so I feel like with Finn Balor, it's a totally different situation altogether. Because when Paul Heyman, knowing him, he'll play him up like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Finn Balor will actually make it happen. He'll actually take it and go, yeah, see, I am the greatest thing since sliced bread, and the fans will get behind it, whether it's a heel or a babyface. So Raz, man, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling Heyman and Finn Balor. I think that might actually work. It really would.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Because and I didn't even think about it until, because when you really like a guy, because I've watched Finn come up as Prince Devitt. Anybody knows me and knows I'm a huge indie guy. I actually spent time on the indie scene as a manager, as a commentator, so locally here in town. So, I'm all about being into a guy right from the very beginning. So I didn't really look and think about what Finn's weakness is, but yeah, that is his weakness, is his mic skills. So I just came up with it like in the spur of the moment right there. So glad to like it.
Yeah, man. Anything else you want to say about Finn Balor or Samoa Joe?
It's just so intriguing because, like, who's gonna go over what is this gonna be more than one match? I think it should be more than one match, but then NXT is so high on Baron Corbin, which they should not be. That's a whole other thing.
We'll get into him. We'll get into him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But
oh my God.
It's like, so for that reason, is it going to be more than one match? Because if it's only going to be one match, then Joe has to win it. If it's going to be more than one match, then it makes sense for them to drag out the feud and have Finn go over.
We'll see what happens, man. But that's what makes this match even more interesting to me, because we don't know who's going to win, which makes us go, okay, now we gotta see the match to see how it plays out. And we rarely get that nowadays in any company. You know what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and move on to the Divas. No, the female wrestlers in NXT. We're calling them female wrestlers.
I hate, this is kind of a random side note, but like I hate when they say divas. Just call them women's wrestlers.
Yeah,
or just wrestlers.
And we've said that.
Divas makes me think they're like dramatic and like, I don't know the word for it, but
the term diva,
women wrestlers.
Yeah, the term diva has taken such a big hit in wrestling over the last, I'm gonna say, decade, because of how they book them just being models, bringing in all these models to ruin the term. Let's just give them what they deserve, to be called female wrestlers. I think Bayley has done an excellent job as NXT champion, and I dare say she might. Oh my God, I think she might, when she comes to the main roster, she might rival John Cena. I am not kidding you.
Oh my God,
that's what Raz was saying, and we were talking about it too.
That's what I said 2 weeks ago. I said if they book Bayley right, Bayley's the female John Cena.
Oh yeah, man, she's gonna rival.
She's hugely popular. Holy moly!
She's just so likable. Everything about her.
And that's what makes her the opposite of Cena. A lot of people don't like Cena because
you're either half or half with Cena. You either hate him or you love him. There's no in between.
Who doesn't?
But with Bayley, you love her.
Yeah. I don't know a single person that dislikes Bayley.
Yeah, because she's the girl next door, and she works hard. She struggled. She kind of has that underdog kind of feel, rise to her, because she did. Looking at her feud with Sasha Banks, I dare say those two matches might be some of the best, probably the two best matches in WWE this year. I think I'll put them up there as a match of the year candidate, either one of them. So we got Bayley going into this match with Eva Marie this past Wednesday,
oh God, they actually went there. I thought after all the time they spent with Alexa, I'm like, okay, they're gonna at least put that off for a while and let Alexa feud.
Yeah, they did Eva Marie versus Bayley, and
why are they high on her? Eva is so annoying, and she's horrible, and she hurts people, and I don't like her. And I apologize for the cold sore and the lighting changes, but I don't like Eva Marie.
Who does? Who does like Eva Marie? But you know what? I will say this. This is giving NXT the best credit that I can give them. They managed to make Eva Marie work on NXT. I love this, spoiled rotten, I'm a celebrity kind of heel character that clearly, when you watch NXT this past Wednesday, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. What they're doing with her character is that they're illustrating that the company is behind her, and they're rigging her matches. What happened with Bayley and Eva Marie this Wednesday is that Charles Robinson came out, and he talks about,
oh my God,
yeah, WWE Corporate is sending out Charles Robinson to help officiate the match. And during the match with Eva Marie and Bayley, Charles Robinson would actually try to count for Eva Marie to give her the championship. they're doing a really good job of making her a heel, and the crowd was booing the hell out of her.
That's what I was just about to say. At least she has the heel factor going on for her.
Yeah,
Making her like that heel that we hate her so much.
And
You know? That's what you want with a heel. You want people to hate them, get under your skin.
And just to really quickly get this part out of the way, to her credit, she has gotten better with the training with Brian Kendrick. But my whole issue with that is, why did it take 3 years of her on the main roster before you gave her that training?
And injuring people in the process.
Yeah, and injuring people in the process, exactly.
I don't know, man. But I just think at this point, because of what the NXT women have done and raise the standard and stuff like that, I think they decide to go, okay, we can't really have Eva Marie do what she does anymore. So I'm happy she got sent down to NXT. And what they did with this match, it just showed me that, you know what, Eva can do something, just given her time. I just wish we would get this kind of booking for her on the main roster, which I don't think we are.
She's better. A lot of people are better established on NXT.
And that's what I'm trying to say. I like her because what they're doing with her on NXT. Unfortunately, I know when she gets to the main roster, she's just gonna go back to Total Diva Eva Marie, which is gonna be.
Well, the thing is, that's what I was about to say. If they keep that character going and bleed it over into Total Divas, which was her only thing that made her relevant, that would actually make me want to watch Total Divas again. I haven't watched Total Divas in a long time, but I'd watch it again for that.
Definitely.
If they did that.
So,
you're gonna roll your eyes at me, but I watched the one because I saw Undertaker was in the background of something. That's why I tuned in. But I don't really watch Total Divas.
Of course, but the whole, I don't want to start on a whole Total Divas rant, but Total Divas is so unbelievable. Like Dolph Ziggler would really be stupid enough to go after John Cena's girl.
It's stupid. It's a train wreck. It does nothing. It doesn't advance anybody. It doesn't bring more audiences to the WWE. It's the WWE's way of trying to just branch out and do other stuff. It's like the XFL. Let's be real. Total Divas is another version of the XFL. Them trying to do something that they're really not supposed to do. You're a wrestling company trying to do a reality TV show. What the hell? Now,
Right.
Breaking Ground, just stand up really quickly. Breaking Ground on WWE Network is actually, I actually like that show. It's a reality TV show of NXT.
I love it.
I need to catch up on it, but it looks amazing.
Yeah, I love it. It's the wrestling version of Hard Knocks on HBO with the NFL.
Exactly. And see, that's why I love it so much. And it plays into the wrestling business. It makes sense. Total Divas doesn't do that. It's just, hey, here are these female wrestlers living their life outside of wrestling. Don't give a shit. I don't care at all. But Eva Marie's pretty much done with Bayley. But now we move on to Nia Jax versus Bayley, because after the match, Nia Jax attacks Bayley and sets up their match for NXT in London. How do you guys feel about Nia Jax? Because I'm kind of on the fence, you know?
But here's the thing. I think, why are they pushing her to the title so quickly? That makes me mad. Is it because of her size and her, oh my God, because
being not the typical diva.
Because we saw that already with Awesome Kong, and to be fair, Awesome Kong got pregnant, so we don't know how that would have turned out, but they didn't exactly do that well with her.
Right.
So it just makes me think, okay, well, they just washing her under the rug and making Nia Jax the new her, I like it because
I think it's a half and half type of thing.
I like it because Jimmy said it's different, but I'm not sold on it yet. Like Alex said, it's too much too soon. You don't push her to the title right now, in my opinion.
And we already know why they're doing it, because like you said, she's the new Awesome Kong. They want to establish a monster.
Yeah, she's not the typical normal women's wrestler diva.
Right. I mean, and why did you spend, just to go back to my girl Alexa Bliss for a second, from C-Bus, got to stick by my Ohio girl here. Why did they spend so much time with her and Bayley after Charlotte and Becky went up to the main roster if they're not going to let her have a title match? It doesn't make any sense.
Do you think Nia Jax? I honestly think Nia Jax is getting the favorite treatment, not just because of her size and stuff, but also because of who she's related to. You do know she's a cousin of The Rock too, right? She's one of the
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that does have a lot to do with it, but but she needs to be careful because we all know what happened to Roman Rock came out and went in his corner. Not even The Rock could save Roman Reigns at that point.
Right.
So,
Man, I don't know. I'm not really. I'll be honest with you. I'm not really high on Nia Jax as a NXT champion. That might be because I don't want Bayley to lose that championship yet. But I also think it's a little too soon.
but again, if they're ready for Bayley to lose, 4 horsewomen on the main roster. So,
which is the upside to that. I know that. It's just, again, if she goes up to the main roster, we talked about this too, who they have on NXT, except for Nia Jax and possibly Asuka and Alexa Bliss. So we'll see what happens, man. That's going to be an intriguing match in itself. Anything else y'all want to say about the NXT female wrestlers, by the way?
But that's about it.
Just that I wish they would have kept Blue Pants because she was over, and I don't understand why they didn't keep her.
They still kept her. She's still working for NXT. They just haven't signed her yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I heard that she hadn't got signed to a contract and that she was taking booking elsewhere, and I was like, what the heck? But,
okay, I'm busy, Dad. I'm busy. Sorry.
All right. So let's move on to Raz's favorite person, Baron Corbin. Let's talk about Baron Corbin versus Apollo Crews.
Okay, well, here we go. All right. Here's the thing. Apollo Crews, perfect. Hybrid wrestler. Bobby Lashley, 1,000 times better. So over, so entertaining. I'm all about Apollo Nation because I was all about Ouya Nation when he was on the independent scene. Got no issue whatsoever with Apollo. And he really is the right opponent for Baron right now because they're both those bigger guys and it makes sense. But Baron is the machine guy. He's the guy that WWE thinks they need to push because he's the big guy and they need a big bad buoy heel. And maybe it's just because he's playing his character so well. I don't need to put in my time because I am who I am from the NFL, but I just can't stand the guy. I think he's a machine-made wrestler in a brand full of wrestlers who have paid their dues. I cannot stand Baron Corbin.
Which, again, I actually agree with you. He does come off very smug. He does. He comes off like the guy that I know I'm going to be treated special because the company likes me. But to his credit, he is playing that into his character. He is talking about how he's sick of all these indie wrestling fans, and indie wrestlers coming in talking about how he doesn't deserve it. Well, I performed in the NFL and performed in front of a lot more people than you have ever performed of. And so I like that he's at least utilizing that heat to his character. And to be fair, in terms of him being booked like a dominant, as the dominant wrestler that he is, again, NXT has done a masterful job of making him look like a legit threat. But
to me, when he comes up, he's just going to turn into another version of the Ascension.
Oh, absolutely. When he comes to the main roster, he's going to be eaten up, definitely.
Yeah, because that works in NXT, but if you try to do the same thing on the main roster, people are immediately going to tell you they don't buy it, and he's going to get stuck in matches on main event superstars. So that's.
We were just talking about that, how we don't want people to go to the main roster because they don't know how to book them when they're on the main roster.
Yeah, and even somebody I don't like Corbin. But even him, I'm like, just stay where you're at, dude, because you're going to get screwed if you don't.
Right, and someone like...
Raz, you were in your element right there when you're talking about...
Thank you.
But someone like Baron Corbin needs special kind of care. That's why when they first brought him in, remember he went on that undefeated streak beating people in like 30 seconds and stuff? Because that's what you got to do that with someone like Baron Corbin. Otherwise, he's just not going to stand out. He's not.
People screaming Goldberg at him. I was like, okay, that's good work.
Mm-hmm. And then he lost it. Yeah, and there's nothing else to really grab onto him except for this heel heat that he's doing.
But is it a thing, just to wrap up the discussion on Baron Corbin, because we don't want to turn it into a Baron Corbin show to end this show, but is it a thing where I have so much heat on him because he's doing his job as a heel? It's because that's what heels are supposed to do. They brought this element into the character. Is that him proving that he can be something, or is it literally just him being shoved down our throat, which is what I feel like it is?
Right. Well, I mean, either way, at least NXT is managing to use it in a way that actually advances these feuds, and I'm looking forward to their match on NXT. I think it's safe to say that Apollo Crews is going over.
Wait, do you think Apollo will win the title before Samoa Joe or after Samoa Joe?
Ooh.
I'm just curious.
I would have him win after Samoa Joe. I would actually have him beat Samoa Joe for the championship. I think I would do it that way. Whatever way they go about it, Apollo Crews is gonna be in it. He's gonna be a champion. You know that this is the guy. When he gets to the main roster, he's gonna be great. I think if you were ever gonna make a pure black man, sorry to bring race into this, I hope you guys are uncomfortable with that.
Well, should we tell him the funny story, Jamie? Since you brought
Sure, if you want to.
Since you brought it up, okay. Well, I had to get Jamie into NXT, like, because
I was learning all their names.
Yeah.
So I asked, who did I ask? Well, like, what did I ask?
It was Apollo versus Baron Corbin for the number one contendership.
And I said, oh, who is who? You know.
And I said, well, Apollo's dominating right now. And she goes, who's Apollo? And just without thinking, I could have said, the guy in the green tights or whatever. I could have said at the time, but I just said the black one.
I was like, okay, but I thought since one was wearing pants and one was wearing a Speedo, I thought, oh, you're going to be like, oh, the one in the Speedo. But no, he goes, oh, the black one. I go, okay, well, when you put it that way.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Jesus Christ. No,
but people know I'm not racist at all. So that was not.
Well, obviously not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Raz, let me just say this. I know you're not Hulk Hogan. You're good, okay? You're just
good. You're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Hulk Hogan's not racist either, but I'm just saying that we know what you're talking about. And so I hope he becomes a legit world champion for WWE because, like you said, Raz, he is Bobby Lashley done right. So anything else you want to say?
Absolutely. Well, I think that when the only problem I have with Apollo and Samoa Joe right now, the next two obvious champions, is where's Sammy going to be? Where's Hideo Itami going to be when they come back? Like, the landscape has changed so much since those two guys got hurt. Their career might have been, cut short simply because WWE doesn't know where to put them right now.
Well, that's actually my next topic because apparently Sami Zayn has been announced to be returning at NXT in London. So
awesome. It's about the dang time.
Man. I'm excited about Sammy. He was my Daniel Bryan last year. That guy was, he had me on NXT. He is one of the best performers WWE has had in a long time.
Right, yeah. And you go back and watch the stuff that him and Kevin Owens did on the indie scene when he was down with Jericho. Oh, Lord.
Oh, that was good, man. It was good. Even if you want to talk about his work here on NXT with Kevin Owens, that feud has yet to be capped off, and I hope they pick it back up on the main roster.
Yeah. Have Kevin Owens. Here's the way you do it if you're smart. Because this is how far ahead I planned for certain guys I really like. If you want to do a feud between Owens and Zayn right on the main roster, have Owens be in the Money in the Bank match about to grab the briefcase, have Sami Zayn pull a Matt Hardy and cost him that briefcase. Like, flat out in that match.
Damn, that's the way you do it that way.
Maybe we should have the fans book a week of wrestling instead of the creative team.
Well,
how is it that the fans can book better than the actual WWE creative team? It's gotten that bad, ladies and gentlemen. It really has.
Well, that's the reason you do your skits, which are so great.
Thank you, by the way. Thanks.
Yeah.
I was a part of one of your skits with the whole Undertaker pizza thing. I remember that. That was fun.
Oh, that was ridiculous too. I appreciate that.
And by the way, I love your Undertaker poster in the background. But yeah, that was a fun skit to do.
See that?
Just had to point that out.
Man. He's one of the greatest of all time. Of course he's up there. That's what I'm saying. But Sami Zayn, I mean, whatever they do with him, it's going to be great. But to answer your question, dude, in terms of where they're going to fit Sami Zayn on NXT, anywhere. I would like to see him go after the NXT Championship again. Maybe do Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn. I would be all over that.
That would be amazing. I would love to see that.
Or Sami Zayn versus Finn Balor. I'm all over that. Oh my God, that's even better. Or do a triple threat. Anything. They can do whatever they want. They can put him against I don't know, pick someone, Apollo, no, maybe not Apollo Crews, maybe Baron Corbin or something like that. I'd watch that.
I mean, you could actually make that, actually putting him against a guy like Sami Zayn. That's what I need for Baron Corbin. I need Baron Corbin to be in there with a guy who has amazing bell-to-bell skills, where he has to show that he can wrestle that kind of pace in that kind of match. Because every match he's wrestled has been against other big guys.
Yeah, man, and
Which
you
is why
talk about.
I guess in a way that's why Apollo is going to be a good match for him, because Apollo is a hybrid between
Right.
those two. Yeah.
But also, when you think about all these TNA guys coming in, like I just said, James Storm, and then now Austin Aries might be coming in too. That's just even more opponents for Sami Zayn. Austin Aries versus Sami freaking Zayn. Are you kidding me? Let's go. Let's go right now.
Right. And while we're at it, let's just finally bring AJ in. Let's just.
Oh my God.
Let's just get that done.
Could you imagine? Could
Yeah.
you imagine? Oh my goodness.
Jesus Christ. Just imagine
But
if they got AJ.
Kind of a side note, though, they really should have us, not us in particular, but they really should have the fans, like, run WWE for a week.
Well, shoot, we'll take the job. That's not why we'll take the job.
Why not?
Shoot, man. Whatever show we do, it definitely be better than what we're getting now. Jesus Christ. Sami Zayn, he's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see him back. But also, coming back, Hideo Itami, he's not scheduled to come back until next year, though. That's another one. I'm not too sure what they're gonna do with him, though. Him getting hurt at the time he did was probably the worst time for him because he was in the middle of.
They were gonna push him before Finn. We love Finn, but they were gonna push Hideo before Finn.
Yeah, they were ready to give him They were ready to give him the championship. Finn pretty much got Hideo's championship win. So
yeah, he did.
He did. So I don't know what's going to happen with him when he comes back. He's in the storyline with the shoulder injury. We don't know who did that yet. Like NXT once again being smart, making use of what they have. So when he does come back, he'll have a feud.
If he's still there, I think it needs to be a heel Finn, just to play off that. Like I was supposed to be the big Japanese star, not you. I was the guy with the legacy, not you. Have Finn turn heel and feud with Hideo if he's still there by that point. That's how I would book it. But
anything would work with me, man. And then of course, finally, when it comes to NXT, let's talk about the tag team division on NXT.
I was shocked to see Dawson win it on a non-pay-per-view, a pre-tape show. That shocked me.
Stuff like that normally happens at a big event, not like a taping,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Let me tell you something. When it comes to Dash and Dawson, man, I cannot believe how much of a big fan I've become of them. I love their slogan, by the way. No flips, just fists. That's just awesome, old school brain buster kind of booking. They are a dominant tag team. Yeah, and they stand out, man. And you know what? I hope. I don't know, man. I know that they're going into this feud with Enzo Amore and Big Cass, Soft. And, of course, this is going to be the big moment for Soft. I'm calling it right now. Soft is taking those championships. And,
they need to, because Soft has been the benchmark for the NXT Tag Team division. That's the last thing they need to do before they can get called up, is to win those titles. But at the same time, maybe Dash and Dawson keep it because Cass and Enzo can get called up and get over.
You know what, man? I would be fine with that, too, because Dash and Dawson are really impressing me. It's about time we got ourselves an old-school, no-nonsense kind of tag team that's...
and I agree with everything you're saying about Dash and Dawson, but my biggest fear, though, is now the Vaudevillains, because I love the Vaudevillains, too. And now that they don't have those titles, when they get called up, is that gimmick going to get over on the main roster? Yeah, it got a huge reaction in Brooklyn. Yeah, it was from 15,000 strong, but the 15,000 strong that buys tickets to that show is the indie NXT crowd. It's not the main roster crowd.
Because a lot of the main roster crowd are little kids, too.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are people our age and younger and even older. But I guess you could call them more of the casual fans and maybe us as the internet fans or the
hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Actually, Raz, I'm gonna put you at ease. I think the Vaudevillains are gonna do just fine. on the main roster. Let me tell you why. Because of their appeal and their gimmick, I think they'll do well with the kids. I think the kids will love them. I think the kids will love Vaudevillains. I think both talents, in terms of in-ring ability, can carry a good match with anybody. I think the Vaudevillains are the exact kind of characters that WWE is looking for when it comes to what they want to present. You know what I'm saying? It's cartoony, but not too cartoony to a point where it's ridiculous. It's just fun, kind of.
Just right.
Just right. So, I think that they're, first off, you know they're going to stand out. They're definitely going to stand out on the main roster, without a doubt. You'll know who the Vaudevillains are.
They're better than some in a lot of the tag teams.
And
a lot of tag teams are not that interesting anyway.
Exactly, and they're a rare breed where they've proven that they can work as a heel and a face as a team.
Exactly, and you know what, man? When you look at the main roster in terms of tag teams, who do we have? We have the Lucha Dragons. We have the Ascension, which I'm sorry, the Ascension needs to probably be brought down back to NXT because
that's what me and Roz were talking about last.
Didn't they have a match between them and Dash and Dolphin this week on NXT?
You mean Gable and Jordan? Yeah.
No, I thought the Ascension was coming back down to like take a challenge from Dash and Dawson.
Well, no, they came down to fight Jason Jordan and Gable. Chad
okay,
Gable.
I thought it was Dash and Dawson. My bad.
No, it's cool, man. But the Ascension, I think they should just be brought back down to NXT. It's clear that they're not working on the main roster, unfortunately. But you also have the Usos. You got the Dudleys coming back, and you got the New Day. Yeah. And the New Day is perhaps the best thing going for her.
Oh my gosh, we always talk about them. They're hysterical.
I mean, I don't know.
They're so great.
Alex, maybe you know, because Jamie and I cannot figure it out. When did that switch get flipped with the New Day? When did they go from the most annoying, pointless group in WWE to suddenly they decide, oh, we're funny. Xavier Woods can play the trombone. Let's use it. Like, something happened overnight with them, and now they're the best thing on the main roster.
You know what, man? First off, let me ask you this. Do you watch Xavier Woods' YouTube channel, Up, Up, Down, Down, his gaming channel?
No, I don't. I need to, though, I'm guessing.
Well, let me just tell you this. How they are on TV is how they are in real life. Exactly how they are on TV, that is them. So why it's working is because that's them. It's 100%
They're being genuine,
them.
you know?
Exactly, you know? And what's happening is, what also works with them is that they finally stopped trying to shove them down our throats as a good guy group. Oh, you have to cheer the New Day. No, they just let the fans boo them, and they're actually making it work to their advantage. I mean, every arena you go to, they're either chanting "New Day sucks," "New Day sucks," or "New Day rocks." I'm starting to hear that now. It's a household name now.
New Day is basically like Three Rocks. We talked about The Rock a minute ago and how he had to become a heel in order to get over. Becoming heels gave New Day a personality, so it's the best thing that ever happened to him.
They are so great. Holy moly,
and they're fun.
I love them.
The New Day illustrates what could happen with Roman Reigns. If they did that with Roman Reigns, that could probably happen the exact same way. And not just Roman Reigns, a lot of other people on the roster. So, you know, I think the Vaudevillains would fit in right there because it just adds more variety to the main roster. You got the Lucha Dragons, which are the luchador wrestlers. You know, the comedy act is the New Day. The Ascension is that serious group. And you got the Usos and the Dudleys as the veteran groups and stuff like that.
Yeah, it would just add to the tag division, too.
Right.
Exactly.
I gotta say, that's the one thing from Raw we did forget to talk about. I love the Wyatts versus the Dudleys. It's a perfect fit. I love it.
I love what with New Day when they came out on their like ponies or whatever. That was hysterical. That was perfect.
Yeah,
I was cracking up.
So the tag team division is looking really good overall in WWE, and what we're doing on NXT is trying to continue that resurgence. We're seeing new tag teams like Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. We're seeing Dash and Dawson. We're seeing Soft, and they're going to be called up. When Soft gets to the main roster, I dare say they'll be as over as the New Age Outlaws. They're like this generation's New Age Outlaws.
When that music hits on the main roster, the ground's going to shake. People don't even know how over those two guys are.
You don't know, and it's going to be crazy, man. So I look forward to seeing what they do with these tag teams coming up. Let me ask you this, and we can end the NXT discussion after this. Based off of the NXT tag teams that you guys know about, do you have a particular favorite that you're looking forward to? We can start with you, Jamie. What do you think? Do you have a favorite tag team on NXT?
I can't think of anything right now, but Raz, you could.
Okay, well, you can
I
go,
have to
Raz.
think.
Okay, well, Nash and Dawson, like Alex said, are the old school, like almost like a Four Horsemen, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson type of vibe, the old school bruiser vibe. So I like that. But the best thing, as far as an overall package, as far as a tag team, is Gable and Jordan. I think they are perfect because they started off as reluctant partners and then they grew as characters. Now they're meshing perfectly together, finishing each other's sentences. They could be a heel or a face, depending on who they're facing, because the crowd's behind them either way. I just love everything about it.
This is the perfect tag team. It is, man.
Yeah.
And I know we would make the comparison between Kurt Angle or the world's greatest tag team with them. I dare say they're standing out on their own. I just love them.
And it's funny you said that because I would love to see, I don't know if Charlie Haas would ever come out of retirement for obvious reasons, but I would love to see, a one-off NXT match between the four of them. I would love to see that.
Ooh, wouldn't that be an awesome match? Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas versus Chad Gable and Jason Jordan? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do that.
Yeah. I don't care if it's a one-off match for a takeover and that's all you get. I don't care, just as long as it happens.
Right. I'll let Jamie think a little bit longer. When it comes to me and favorite tag teams, I'm going to actually go with, the obvious choices would be Enzo Amore and Big Cass, but I'm going to go with Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. I actually think those two they're just killing it right now for me, man. I love Chad Gable being the cheesy, almost young Kurt Angle kind of personality and his freaking towel. But he's just a ham. And then of course Jason Jordan, I remember Jason Jordan when he came up in FCW, and I've always felt like he was someone that was really good, but just highly overlooked and highly underrated. So I'm happy that he got this tag team with Chad Gable so fans can finally realize, hey, this guy's actually really freaking good. So that would be my pick for favorite tag team.
I guess I agree with Raz, but like I still need to learn everybody's name and because I haven't watched. No, I mean I watch every week, but I still need to like.
Yeah,
you're not familiar with the character.
Yeah, I need to get familiar with everybody first before I start going this person. I do have a few favorites now for wrestlers in general, but I need to learn their names and like the personalities and everything.
Yeah, and to be fair to Jamie, like before she gets like snide, stupid comments when we're done here, she has a very busy schedule, so it was easy to think why she wouldn't think to watch another show every week. And why it took, people, her friends saying, no, you got to watch NXT.
I mean, for Christ's sake, wrestling gives us too much time as it is. I mean, 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours, I don't even think you watch SmackDown.
No.
Because I don't. But 3 hours of Raw is enough for us as a wrestling fan. So I don't
get me wrong, I like NXT a lot, which is why I'm continuing to watch it, but I still need to learn everything,
Yeah, I think NXT London is going to be another great NXT special because NXT has yet to have one bad special, and I don't think it's going to.
Absolutely.
It's not going to change at NXT in London. So, guys.
And the London crowd, we all know what the London crowd does every time. So you put the NXT volume in front of that London crowd, that's going to rival.
Overseas crowds are always the best crowds.
Yeah, that's going to rival any WrestleMania crowd we've ever had. I guarantee you.
Man. So I'm looking forward to seeing how well this next special goes.
Well, just before we end it real quick, unless there's something else Jamie wants to add, I have to ask Alex about Ty Dillinger, because I think Ty Dillinger is extremely underrated, but the problem is he's on such a crowded roster right now. There's no good way to push him. But I love the whole 10 gimmick. I think it could be a great heel gimmick if they did it right.
I'm right there with you, man. He's not going to get a break. I hate to say that. He reminds me of, what was his name again? Who was the guy, the hippie with the peace sign? He left the company. He had his last match against Kevin Owens at our Evolution.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of his name right now either.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Ty Dillinger to me, as entertaining as he is, and as much as this 10 gimmick is getting over and as perfect as it is for him, I already know that when he gets to the main roster, he's going to be the next Santino Marella. He's going to be a joke character. They're going to use him to enhance other talents and not really showcase him as someone that's legit, that should be taken seriously. Although he should. Unfortunately, he's not going to be taken seriously. And I think he's a great talent. And it's a shame that he's just not going to pan out very well, unfortunately.
That is a shame when people go to the main roster or get to WWE, the way that they're treated sometimes.
Yeah, even like I just said, he's just, even as good as he is, he's on a roster that's too crowded right now because there's too many other guys that are in the spot that he needs to get to.
But you know what, man?
Yeah.
Let me just say this too. When it comes to WWE overall, there's a lot of things that I want to change. 2 hours of Raw being number one.
Yeah, me and
Yes.
Roz talk about that every episode.
Yeah, we've said that every episode for like the last 4 weeks. 3 hours is too much.
It's too much.
I cannot
It's
sit through
too
3
much.
hours. I cannot do
It's
it.
even too much for a lot of the quote-unquote pay-per-views. I don't like that term.
I think
anymore
3
because
hours is fine occasionally or on special nights, but not every week. I can't do it.
Yeah, even
really can't do
even WrestleMania, as big and as important as WrestleMania is, 4 hours for WrestleMania is even overkill. The more time you add to a show, the harder you have to work to make a show interesting, and you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
And that's the problem with WWE overall. It's just overexposure, overuse of talents. That's why people are getting hurt. That's why Seth Rollins got hurt. That's why Cesaro got hurt. Rusev was hurt. He's back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I like the old school nature of it, sure. But in this day and age, your WWE World Heavyweight Champion should not be working a random house show. He should just not.
No, he shouldn't be working at a random
That's why you
house
gotta
show.
establish stars so that way if wrestlers do get hurt, you always have other people to fall back on too.
Thank you, and that's what I want to see in 2016. They have to. This is not even a okay, we can do it later kind of thing. No. In 2016, the WWE has to establish new stars now because they don't
Gotta
have
be
John Cena.
consistent.
Yes, because they don't have John Cena. I don't know what. I think he's gonna return somewhere at the end of the year, but he's not around right now. They probably won't have him much longer. They don't have Randy Orton. He's out for until SummerSlam now. He's gonna be gone for a while. They don't have Seth Rollins.
That's a
I
lot
heard he
worse
needed
injury.
surgery now.
Yeah, that's a lot worse injury than what they first said then for him.
Well, because he has a shoulder injury, but now he has a neck injury as well. It's neck and shoulder, so he's gonna be out for a long time, dude.
Okay. Yeah, I think, just not to be mean or anything, but I think it is hilarious though how he did injure the shoulder, like take it out the trash. I just think that's funny.
He's always had shoulder injuries though. He's had he got the same injury back in 2010, I think, when he punched the freaking mat and popped his shoulder out of his socket. So it's,
Right. That's why he stopped doing the whole Viper thing, which was his best thing.
And about WWE, obviously a show can't be perfect, but as long as you're consistent and making like the majority of fans happy, then you're good. You know, because obviously they'll have bad shows here and there. Every show, no matter what it is, Walking Dead, whatever the most popular show, or even sports, are always gonna have a bad game, a bad show. But as long as you're consistent and the majority of the time you're making the fans happy and the show is good, then it'll be fine. But not like WrestleMania time we're going to be good, and then after some pay-per-views, and then only when certain wrestlers are there we're going to be good. It should be consistent in the majority of the time.
yeah, man, and that's what I want to see from WWE going into 2016, because I will argue this until until something changes. I think WWE has the best roster that they've had in a long-ass time of wrestlers. This includes the NXT roster as well. You just look at the talent pool and just think
They're loaded.
They are
Yeah,
loaded, man.
Triple H getting the reins down there and getting the ability to actually bring in stars that he knew the fans would care about is what changed the whole dynamic. So the future of wrestling is bright. It's just the people making creative decisions don't know what the hell they're doing.
No.
I mean, I'm sorry to swear at people, but
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's just the truth.
They don't know what the hell they're doing. And it's sad that, again, us wrestling fans can book better shows than they can. That's where we are, okay? You watching us right now on YouTube can probably book a better show than the people who are getting paid to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
were on.
supposed to be professionals. Do
This is
your
gonna be
job.
this is gonna be close to 2.5 hours by the time we end it. But the reason that we're able to do that is just because we have so much to talk about and so much frustration, so
And
much
plus, the three
frustration
of
and
us
achievement.
together, we can go on hours and
Well,
on
this is
end
true.
about
I mean,
wrestling.
this is our first proper conversation in a number of years too, and it just happened to happen on the air. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So here's hoping that some change happens with WWE going next year because they need it, especially for WrestleMania 32. If they want to sell over 100,000 seats, the goal is 105,000. By the way, if you're gonna make that happen, you're gonna have to do better than Sheamus as a world champion.
oh, absolutely.
You're gonna have to do better than that.
Even just for the love of God, let me end it on this, unless
Yeah.
you guys throw something else in there. For the love of God, don't do the knee jerk thing and put the title back on Brock Lesnar. Don't do it, please. You got too many other good talents that could give themselves a good showing in the main event if you let them.
Brock
Lesnar,
doesn't need it anyway.
yeah, he's a novelty. He can get over without the title. He doesn't need the championship.
Well, not just
Other
Brock
ways to
Lesnar.
make him look
Yeah.
like a beast anyway, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and not just Brock Lesnar, John Cena either. Don't get the title back to
Him
John
too.
Cena.
Him too.
Well,
Him too.
yeah. I mean, I didn't say what I said earlier because I want that to happen. I'm just saying I can see WWE doing that, and
Yeah, we got you.
in a rare case, it would make, in this frame of time, it would make more sense, I guess, depending on who they put him in there with. But yeah, I don't want to see John Cena with another title reign.
No, nobody does. People want to see new stars being
Something
made.
different.
They want something different. They want something new and fresh. They want to feel like WWE is growing and getting better and actually giving us something that we haven't seen before. Not the same old crap. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what they're going to do. I hope whatever they do is good. I just, at this point in time, I'm a little bit skeptical of them actually making things happen. We'll see how it goes into next year, 2016. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
We'll
all
just
I
have
gotta
to see
say.
how everything plays out. So I'm pretty sure that's it, right? It was amazing having you on the show. It was so
Yeah.
much fun.
You're absolutely
yeah.
welcome back anytime, and we hope that you will come back at some point in the future because it's always great to talk to you, man.
It was always good talking to other wrestling fans, you know. But guys, this is your boy Deluxe Man. If this is the first time you're watching me, please go subscribe to me. This is the first time if you're watching me. If you're a fan watching Jamie's channel, please subscribe to Jamie. She is really good. And of course, Raz as well. Subscribe to both of them. Both of them are great, have great minds of wrestling. They both are very fun people to watch. And again, if we're going to establish this community again, I think it's good that you guys get some exposure to what's out there, different opinions, different viewpoints. Although we might not agree a lot of the times, but it's fine. You don't have to.
But I think
agree.
that's what's amazing about coming on here. Is
Yeah.
I love coming on the internet. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have some wrestling fans in college, but it's not the same as the fans on here. I'm like, even if I disagree, it's just amazing to be able to share so many opinions and just start a conversation with so many wrestling fans.
Yeah, and it's amazing like how often I can call you on almost a nightly basis, and we can start talking. And if you have a difference of opinion than me, it's amazing how the way you put it, you make me rethink and like, oh, I didn't really see that point of view. And so a lot of times I'll change my mind. So that's a great thing about what we can all do for each other.
Or even if we disagree, we branch
Yeah.
out ideas, or we create a discussion, not a fight, but a discussion.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it's all about. That's what the YWC used to be all about, and that's what it should be about again. Not about
We
drama.
really need to establish the IWC again because it's slowly declined, and
Yeah.
a lot of people left, but a lot of people are coming back, and I'm uploading consistently now, and I'm gonna get a better camera. I mean, I'm on my laptop, my Mac laptop, but once I get all that, I'll be able to do skits and vlogs and, obviously talk about wrestling. But I'm uploading consistently, so I've been doing that for like a month or two now.
It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see that, Jamie. That's gonna work just well. But please subscribe and check them out, guys. You will not regret it. There you go.
All right.
All right. Well, with that, I think we can't do anything else but again say thank you to Alex, and guys, we'll be back next Saturday as usual. The start time just fluctuates depending on our schedule, but it's always every Saturday afternoon right here on the Rotisserie Jamie channel, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Deuces.